Alright, so we made it to the point where the car has made more power than the stock clutch could handle. We got this Clutch Masters FX500 clutch. We'll be putting it in the car and hopefully it won't slip. So I originally manual swapped the car about a year ago, a little over, and put a stock N54 clutch and flywheel in the car, and it has held up to this point. So it is time for an upgrade. This might be overkill, but I'd rather be solid and set for all the clutch kicks that it can handle and have the clutch not be the weak point. And alright, we got the car up on the lift. The old clutch. It is white smoked. You can see all the glazing on it. The edges started to even chip off and wear. The pressure plate is also smoked. We will have to replace this. This is not an OEM one. It is an N54 reman, I think. So it's not the strongest. And it's probably why it was prematurely slipping. And here's what I swapped it with, the 335 GS653BZ. It's the transmission that comes out of the manual 335s, and I'm pretty sure some of the M3s as well. So once again, probably an overkill transmission for a base model 3 series, but I want to be bulletproof and I want that raw transmission, and this is the one. And then over here we have both of the differentials out of the 328i and then the 335i. The 335 is a little bit bigger of a unit. Left is 335, right is 328. And all the mounting points are the same for the subframe. So the 335 and all the axle bolts are also the same. And I think the axle lengths might be barely different, but more or less the same. They'll bolt up and they'll do fine. And then the joint connections down here are different. 335 has the big twist-on style bolt, and then the 328 has the conventional U-joint with the 4 bolts bolting it on. And then the overall length of these drive shafts are pretty much the same, but the thicknesses also. Here are the 335 splines. The thicknesses are a lot bigger, and there are more splines, and it goes over the 328 splines, and then vice versa. Front shaft doesn't fit on the back shaft of each, and then the guibos are also a little bit different on the 335 transmissions than the 328s. The guibo bolt pattern is a little wider out. So here are the comparisons on this 328 front shaft. I had to slot this, which is, I would not recommend. We slotted these so that it could fit the bolt out wider for the 335 bolt pattern. But these bolts we have on here are a little stronger than the OEM ones, and we're going to bolt it on real tight, and I'll probably even weld them up so that it is hard solid, and we'll see if it breaks. But otherwise, the center bearing on the center here is also the same. They will both center themselves on the drive shaft, so you won't get any wobbling if you slot it out like this, and that's why I've been able to get away with it so far. So here's our new stronger bolt. It all slides in, bolts up tight. Guibo's stronger. The guibo's also thicker on the 335s. So yeah, we'll probably cap it out with a little bit of flux core. And then as for the transmission itself, bolting up to the N52, a lot of the bolts are the same. There's a couple on the side, one here, one on the right, and one on the left, where there is no threads on the N52 block, so you pretty much will not put a bolt in those. Otherwise, these top 2 bolts, you have to slot them in just a little bit, drum one out, because the bolt pattern is a little bit closer just on the top 2, so I'll drill this one out, and that one's already drilled. And then you can fit all your bolts through. It bolts up flat and even. All the dowel pins also line up, so it'll seat just like the factory transmission, and all the shift linkage as well from the 335. You get it just swaps right over. There's already holes in the chassis for the bolts, so you just bolt it all up when you get the whole swap kit. Also something to note, this diff is welded 373 and this is an open 308. Go ahead and measure here just to see how close the actual drive shaft lengths are. I'm sorry for this terrible voiceover, I don't remember the measurement. And we see here it's about 56 inches. And point is, both the drive shafts are pretty similar in length, they're only barely off. And then with the extra slop you get with the front and rear shaft connecting with each other, the input lets you get away with a little bit of length differences. So far it hasn't blown up, and I've beaten on the car pretty good, and it's held well. So I'm gonna keep running it till it does break. And then as for the transmission, it's pretty much the same thing in comparison. The input shaft on the 335 transmission is a lot bigger. So this is the N54 clutch, and I'm not sure how many splines it is, but the N52 has less, and the overall diameter of the input shaft is also smaller. So where you make the transfer to make this transmission is you use a N54 pre-LCI flywheel, which will be the same thing. They're the 6-bolt flywheels. So all of the N52 engines have a 6-bolt flywheel. We'll show you just like that right there. There's our flywheel, single mass. We're gonna go ahead and send it out to get resurfaced real quick, just so our new one seats real nice. So yeah, all the N52s have a 6-bolt flywheel like that, and then some of the like pre-2009 N54s also have a 6-bolt flywheel, but the post-LCI N54s have a 8-bolt flywheel. So either way, the flywheels bolt up to the pressure plate. So the N54 pressure plate holes where it will bolt to the flywheel, they're like 3, 3, and 3 holes. Is the same for the N52. Here's the new Clutch Masters one with the unsprung thing. It says track use only. It'll chatter a bunch, but whatever. That's what we're about. Then here's the new pressure plate. Also 3 holes, 3 holes, 3 holes. And they lined up. I tested it out. Looks like it should all line up. And then, yeah. So, if you guys have any other questions on the install of the N52, the things I didn't cover can be covered in Vehicular DIY has a really good video about all of it. I pretty much copied what he did exactly for the wiring and all of the other things. So I converted from auto to 335 manual, which means I had to get rid of all of the auto wiring harness. So it's not gone, but it did take additional wiring to wire in for the manual transmission. Currently, the car has no codes. It believes it's manual because it was reprogrammed. Hill assist works and cruise control also works. I would recommend Vehicular DIY's video for all the wiring. It's pretty straightforward, and it's not as hard as it looks actually. And actually the rest of my auto wiring harness is tucked away under here, right in front of the turbo. I could get rid of it, but I don't really need to. The plug is somewhere down here. Overall, 100% worth it. The manual transmission, even in a NA328, is pretty fun. So. Also, something to note in this particular swap is the trans bell housing bolts are one-time use, and the 335 ones are longer than the 328 bolts. So be sure to get a set of 335 bell housing bolts for this swap. Otherwise, your threads will not be all the way in, and it will not be able to tighten all the way down, and it will be sketchy. So get some of those. All right. And another thing to note is when swapping your N52 with the GS6 53BZ, the flywheels are different. Most of the N54 flywheels are 8 lug, but all of the N52 flywheels are 6 lug. So what you need to do is get a pre-LCI 335 6 lug flywheel. This is a chromoly nitride racing 22 pound flywheel, and the differences in these flywheels are the stack heights. Also need to be sure to get these torqued bolts for the flywheel too, because the hex ones won't fit. And on this flywheel right here, the dowel pins are a little bit smaller, these dowel pins. So on the N54 flywheel, the dowel pins are a little bigger in diameter. So with this improper pressure plate, I had a little bit of wiggle, which was not good, but not the worst since it's bolted down still and torqued. It's just those dowel pins. So because I was running this wrong improper stack height, I was probably getting premature wear, because the stack height, the surface from where it bolts onto, presses down and compresses the clutch different compared to what the pressure plate is supposed to. So this one's a little thicker out towards this way, and we'll have the proper fork engagement too with this throwout bearing, and the throwout bearing's on the tall side. But that last clutch did last me a while, a few track days and a few canyon runs, so it did pretty well. So overall, I'm glad we could fix our previous mistake, get the proper flywheel on here. This one is a few pounds, quite a few pounds, I think 8 pounds lighter than the other one. So we'll see if it revs like a sport bike. We've got to take a few logs. Make sure this thing has a good idle still. It could be a little choppy with a lighter flywheel as well, so sure KS Calibrations will dial it in. They've been doing a real good job on the tune so far, so it's still progressing, and it's getting a little quicker. I'm getting pretty happy with it, and we do need to weld an exhaust soon. So here are the warm idle logs. Record here so we can send them back. Everybody, I'm not too big on straight line performance. I more like time attack and some drifting. The car is currently more set up for drifting, so but I do hope to turn up the boost a little, maybe make as much power as it can make for now. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you next time.